Well, kids. Well. This is Jag Mangat, Jaggy Sports. I'll tell you what, I was wrong. I didn't think Ben Simmons was going to show up to Philadelphia. I didn't think he was. But all of a sudden, Shams on Twitter announced that he will be showing up to Philadelphia. That's breaking news to me because I didn't think that would ever happen. He is going to show up in Philadelphia and sit on that damn bench. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even know where to begin with this. I get it. You show up, you sit on the bench. I guarantee he's got tons of security. Guaranteed he's got tons of security. If you're in Philly and those fans are going to hate on you like big time. We're talking about like when LeBron James came back to Cleveland as a Miami Heat. I think it was in 2010 or 2011. I'm not 100% the exact date. But they are going to hate on that guy. You don't mess with Philly fans. You know what I mean? So, weird. I don't know. I didn't expect that at all. Check this clip out.
I'm Shams Charania here with breaking news presented by AT&T 5G. Ben Simmons will not play in Thursday's Nets-Sixers game, but sources tell me the three-time All-Star is expected to make the return trip to Philadelphia and be on the bench with his team inside Wells Fargo Center. Simmons is working toward making his debut for the Nets as he ramps up after dealing with back soreness, and I'm told there is optimism about a return to action later this month.
When should we be expecting to see the newly acquired Ben Simmons to make a third?
Greeny, there's tremendous urgency around the Nets to get Ben Simmons on the court, get him incorporated and playing with this team. Now, the Nets start a 3-game road trip today against the Celtics. Simmons is going to join them at some point, and the Nets' hope is when Brooklyn gets back after Thursday's game in Philly, that Simmons at that point will be ready to start getting on the floor with his teammates and increasing his workload, getting closer to returning. That back problem has been an issue for him since he's tried to start ramping up. He's essentially really just done individual work at their facility. They're hoping by the end of this week, he'll be able to do more.
But no chance he plays Thursday night in Philly.
There is no chance he is playing in Philly
Fair
Thursday
enough. That's the game a lot of people wanted to see. In the meantime, just having KD and Kyrie together has been a relatively uncommon occurrence. It's happened just 39 out of the 224 games the Nets have played over the 3 seasons these two have theoretically been together, including just 3 times this year. That's just 17% of Nets games with both of these stars in uniform.
All right, so at this point, Legler, a little hustle on over here.
Yeah, do it.
The Nets, 1 game under 500. Yeah. Things not looking good. Kevin Durant back from injury, but they're 0-2 since he returned. Obviously, you don't have Kyrie Irving full-time. Is it time to hit the panic button?
Definitely not. There's too much there that hasn't been unwrapped yet with this team. And look, you just got KD back. You see where he's at right now. He's just going to pick up where he's always been. But for me, the bigger thing is you're going to add Ben Simmons to the mix. You just added 2 other starters who are getting used to playing together. Kyrie Irving is still not playing every night. So this team still has so much more on the table. But for me, when I look at what Kevin Durant did, he reminds me of something. This is the only guy in the league that you cannot force into a bad possession if he's on the floor, because there's no shot that's a low percentage shot for Kevin Durant. The handle, the length, the shooting ability, his ability to get to the line when he needs to. Kevin Durant being on this level gives the Nets a chance. I'm not ready to write them off by a long stretch. I don't care where they are right now in the standings. If he's back healthy, stays back, they're going to add Ben Simmons to the mix here, and he gives them a couple of really key components. You cannot write this team off yet. I don't care where they finish. They're absolutely still in the mix as a team that could come out of the East.
Okay, but you mentioned Ben Simmons. The problem is, according to Woj, he told us yesterday, we don't know when Ben Simmons is going to be back. We thought maybe it would be by Thursday so he could face his former team in the 76ers. Woj tells us no shot, not happening. So what can we expect from Ben Simmons eventually when we do see him on the court?
I knew we weren't going to see Ben Simmons in Philadelphia. I don't care how he's feeling physically or mentally. I knew that was not happening. I'm not even sure he's going to want to see them in the playoffs in that building. But listen, here's the thing. At some point, I know he's under an awful lot of pressure, and he's brought it upon himself, but here's what he will bring immediately. He's going to bring pace to their offense, which they need, but more importantly, he brings the length in a defender that you need against guys like Jason Tatum. Look at who was guarding Tatum yesterday. These guys are good defenders, particularly Bruce Brown, but he's my size. Seth Curry is my size. Jason Tatum is too long to be guarded by guys in that category physically. You added Ben Simmons to the mix, he guards a Tatum, he guards a Jimmy Butler, he guards a James Harden, a Chris Middleton, a Giannis. You bring in a 6'10 defender that's one of the best in the league, he immediately makes you better. And you don't need to run plays for Ben Simmons. You've got to incorporate him with guys, but his impact will be felt immediately whenever he hits the court. That's another reason why I think the Nets are very much in this.
Okay, I don't mean to bring up old stuff, Tim Legler, but wasn't it you that said he absolutely has to play on Thursday against the 76ers, that he is necessary for the operation? And now, how are they going to establish any chemistry with only 17 games left on the season?
Well, listen, here's what I said. I said it's amazing how far the analytics have come, because now they can tell you to the minute when you're going to be ready to play. And I said he's going to be ready to play at 10:15 p.m. on March 10th. Right after that game ends, Ben Simmons is going to be physically ready to play again.
I see.
Okay? That's what I'm saying. Now, listen, if they meet in the playoffs, he's not going to have a choice. At some point, you got to get it over with, and you got to step in that building in Wells Fargo. I've lived in that area a long time. They are waiting for the moment for Ben Simmons to arrive, but it's not going to be on March 10th, and I never considered for a second that we were going to see him that night.
10:15 was the key note there. All right,
Exactly.
Tim Legler, thank you. We'll see you a little bit.
So he's coming back, sitting on the bench, March 10th, and that is on Thursday. Thursday night, we're going to see something special. And because all the guys are there, well, one guy's on the bench, but all the guys are there, and you tell me if you're ready for an absolute thrill of a game, absolute war of a game, actually. Kevin Durant's going to go off. Kyrie's going to go off. James Harden's going to go off. Joel Embiid's going to go off. It's, mark your calendar, March 10th. It's going to be nuts. I'm telling you guys right now. And, you know, all of a sudden his back is miraculously going to, you know, be better. And he's going to wrap up his workout on March 11th, Friday morning, 2 a.m., whatever, after they come back from Philly. Miraculously, he's all good to go. You know what I mean? This has nothing to do with mental health. If it did have something to do with mental health, don't you think that he wouldn't show up to Philly? How is him showing up to Philly good for Ben Simmons' mental health? Just tell me that. Tell me how it is possible. And you know, you guys can debate me all you want, you can agree with me, but after or when you see the March 10th game and how much it's going to affect him, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, okay, well, he hasn't shown up even when he was in Philadelphia as a 76er, even on their bench to support them. But now he's coming there to support the Nets. It's kind of like, dude, like, we know it's not about mental health. A little bit about it is, and I'm not going to get into that, obviously. If you know the story behind that, you understand why I'm not getting into that. But at the end of the day, him going to Philly is not good for his mental health, but yet he's still doing it. To me, personally, I don't think it's mental health at all, then. Because if it is, then he wouldn't show up to Philly. Because I'll tell you one thing, Philly fans are going to ruin him big time. They're going to boo the living crap out of this guy. Rightfully so, you know. All the stuff that he pulled. But it is what it is. This is Jag Mangit. Make sure you guys tune in March 10th, 2022.